Hi, I'm Charlotte. I left Sharnbrook in summer of 2015 with my A-levels, and then I went straight to university to study printed textiles and surface pattern design.
So my name's Jerry Tong. I'm currently the Finance Director for Frost Group.
I'm Simon Dorr. I'm Director of Marketing an ingredients company called Tate & Lyle.
So my name is James Peverell. I've spent 25 years working for IT companies and insurance companies.
Well, I'm Catherine Denton and I'm Project Manager at Excel Structures.
I'm Helen Scott. I have worked in what we call fast consumer moving goods for the past 30 years.
What we used to look for in the interview process is firstly people to be sociable. Sounds sort of basic, but you want someone who can engage and talk and just have good manners and be interesting and somebody you want to spend some time with. So the first thing is just basic social skills. And the second thing is clear evidence and motivation. If you're sitting in front of somebody saying you want to work for them for X number of years and build your career there, you've got to convince them that you understand about the company, the industry. And then third, you've got to have evidence of not just grades, but sort of hard work. So for me, passing exams is partly, yes, you've got some intellect. It's about putting the effort in when you need to do it, when you've got all the other things you want to do in your life, is being disciplined enough to pass the exams and make the best of what you've got. So
if you see that someone's been undertaking some work experience while they've been at school, what does that kind of say to you?
Well, I think it plays to most of the points. Firstly, it shows that someone is motivated. So to go out there, organise some work experience, spend the time as opposed to just extending your summer holiday. I think that's important. Secondly, I think being in a workplace environment definitely teaches you how to behave and how to get on with different people, older people from different backgrounds. So you can very often tell if people have been in a workplace. That comes across at interviews.
Probably three things I would say. The first thing, there's people that really have been accountable for their development and gone out and looked for experience, pushed themselves, been open to new opportunities, taken accountability for their careers and look for new skills.
So some evidence that they have worked before, that they have experience and they understand, because whilst in theory work is just a simple extension of studying, the world of work is all about understanding how organisations work, how you fit in, how you work as a team. So anybody who's shown evidence of doing that in the past, whether it's on a temporary basis or in a work placement, etc., is obviously one less uncertainty that you have to contend with. So
there's kind of a number of things. I mean, first of all, there is a bit of education. So what are you studying, or what have you qualified in? But the two other important bits, one is, I'd say, initiative. So has that person understood a bit about the job role that we're looking for? Have they gone on websites? Have they, perhaps if it's a food company, they've gone into store and they've come and put onto their application that they're interested in my company because I've seen a bit about this company or I've seen a bit about the trade. And the third piece, which is really important, what experiences have they built in their past? And that might be anything, any type of work experience that fundamentally tells me that they've got initiative, they understand the wider world of how to talk to people in a business sense, not just talk to people and friends at home. And then the second part of that is as well, it's kind of problem solving in the real world, which is very different to doing stuff at school or at college.
The first thing is probably a better sense of what you want to do and don't want to do. I mean, I think in business and career, that's almost the hardest thing. I mean, getting on with it is one thing, but if you don't know what you're trying to do, you're never going to get there. So I think the first thing is to try and get a sense of more or less what you want to do. So if you're in an office environment and you like it and you like some of the things that go on there, great. If you don't, then obviously don't start applying for jobs that are office based. So I think the first thing is a better sense of what you want to do, and then the second thing is to pick up one or two little nuggets, examples of either little skills or situations that you can talk about. Because if in an interview or selection process you've got things to talk about, you immediately come across as more engaging, more mature, more interesting. So,
understanding what the world of work means. I mean, having come from school, to step up into an organisation, just the simple disciplines of being at work for a whole day, being able to engage and concentrate for a whole day is pretty exhausting. Being willing to take part and be part of a team, showing a willingness to get involved and ask the right questions, and also I think just a broader understanding of knowing where they're going with their careers.
In a work experience, for me it's like being in a real job, and when I recruit I always look to place people in roles where they're not just sitting in a corner, they're actually developing and delivering a product, so they're problem solving. So I may ask them about how they had some problems or issues in the company that they work for, or how they interrelated with other people in that company, which again is very, very different. You're working with, usually in work experience, you're usually working with all sorts of age groups. It's not just, as I said, your peer group from school or the relatives that you have at home.
I think work experience allows you to show that accountability for you and your career, for you to open up and learn new skills, to bring new ideas to an organisation. We expect young people to come in and be high energy. It's a very competitive world out there for employees to select candidates for roles. We get loads and loads of CVs and we do have to filter them. So I think it's important that we can see someone has gone out there and gained that experience, and most importantly I think that work ethic too. It can be quite daunting going out to a first role. I think if you've demonstrated that you have done some work experience, you've shown a work ethic, you've been open to feedback and coaching, you've gone in there wanting to learn, I think that demonstrates some great skills and competencies for a future employee. Also young people, it's great to go out there and take a few risks, make a few mistakes along the way, and I think work experience allows you to do that, to find out exactly what you want to do.
Yeah, I did many things, and it was usually spring jobs or a summer job. So for instance, working in a newsagents, face-to-face with customers, organising, sorting out deliveries and magazines and all the rest of it. And the biggest was probably working in a bakery, which is, it sounds easy, but this was a big manufacturing bakery, and you're working with other people who are responsible for all sorts of things with high-tech equipment and machinery, and you just have responsibility there.
We had a few things like insight into industry where companies came in and we did things as groups. In our fourth year, which was year 10, that's when we did work experience, which was 1 week based within a company. And I got put with silk screen printers, which is kind of design based. They did all the silk screen printing, but everything came in on trays, all in bubble wrap and stuff. And the daughter worked there of the owner, and it was me and her, and we had to unwrap everything and put them in an order for someone to print them, and then rewrap everything. So we were kind of unwrappers, rewrappers.
I did actually do work experience when I was 16. I went to work for a remote organisation who allowed me to work in 2 or 3 different departments over a 4-week period. Right. And I think that really allowed me to choose what I liked and what I didn't like. And I really had to come out of my comfort zone. And they put me in, for example, a department that I had to learn everything from scratch, and it was quite a fast learning curve.
So I did do unpaid work experience while I was at school and just before I went to university. In that summer, once I did my exams, I worked for Rachel Bassinger. When I worked with her, I just did a fortnight helping her run the business. So I was making products, I was packing orders, I was doing some accounting for her, and these were all experiences I hadn't had before, and really employable skills. That meant that when I applied for jobs doing other things and jobs that I got paid, I already had skills in place and evidence on my CV, as well as a nice reference from her to show that I'd turn up to work on time, I'd do the tasks she set me, and I'd generally be helpful to her while she was running her business. It linked to what I wanted to go into because she's a designer. I learned a bit more about being a designer once you leave school and university, and she obviously made the decision to run her own business. So I learned more about how she does that as a designer, and it helped me decide whether I wanted to look at working in a big business or a smaller business. And any experience you do like that really helps you narrow down what you want to do, especially if you're unsure like I was. So that summer I worked at Tesco's, which was another brilliant experience for me and really helped me to get the job I have now. I was helping customers find products, I was packing orders again, generally interacting with the public while representing the brand and doing all the jobs that my boss set me. So again, that ended up in my CV, and it showed that I had some really good skills that are really important for an employer to see that you have even before you have an interview. So from doing that job, they saw that I could show up to work on time. It showed that I had some customer service experience and I had interacted with customers and other people in the workplace. So from all my work experience so far, I've gained lots of skills that make me more employable for what I want to go into in the future. I've also learned what I do want to do and what I don't want to do. So I've learned I want to stick to design and become a designer rather than being more of a retail side of that sector. I've learned that I want to work with people and I don't want to really work by myself. So there's lots of little things like that have not only made me more employable but more sure of what I want to do, because honestly, before I started university, I didn't know if I wanted to be a graphic designer. I didn't know if I wanted to run my own business. I didn't even know if I wanted to be a textile designer, and that is what I chose my degree in. And that's all fine, because every step that you take, whether you're doing unpaid work experience, whether you are working, whether you're studying, you're learning all the time.
I'd say take every experience you can get. Structured work experience is great. As I say, it helps you. That's the most important thing. It helps people figure out what they're going to do with their lives. So I'd say just do it, but do it for yourself. Don't do it because the school's trying to tell you, or you think your parents want you to do it. It's really helpful for you as an individual.
You really do your research into what this business might need and what you can give them. So when you're writing your covering letter and your CV, you can really target that business and make whoever reads it think this person's great for us specifically.
So I think it's really important for young people to come out of their comfort zone and put themselves out there. It sometimes can be quite brave to do that, but I think you need to take that step, and I think work experience is much about what you like and finding out what you don't like too.
To any students contemplating doing work experience, I'd say go for it.
I think it's an invaluable opportunity. Elsa, my daughter, did a similar thing. She came into Frost and did a week's work experience. She had a general idea she wanted to get into business, but didn't really know what bit of business, so she got the opportunity to see what it was like in purchasing, in marketing, in sales, running the stores. When you look at that and start to think how your personal skills would fit one of those particular roles, it probably gives you a greater idea of what it is you really want to do, so it focuses your mind a little bit. It's really, for me, it's about asking as many questions as you can, showing willing, being enthusiastic, keeping your eyes and ears open, and it's just a fabulous opportunity to get a better understanding of what work is all about, really.
Don't worry if you're not sure that that's what you want to do, because the whole reason you're doing it is to help you work it out. Really focus on your covering letter to make you stand out and how you can help that business specifically.
I think it can be daunting. I think be brave, put yourself out there, get used to that work ethic, be open to learning, take accountability for yourself. You're the only person that can decide your future.
I would just recommend that you grasp every opportunity that comes about and you seek those opportunities, because anything like that will benefit you more than you may know. And then when you get your interview, do more research and think about how you want to portray yourself in that interview to help you get the job or the work placement. So good luck, leavers and sixth formers, and I hope you find some work experience you enjoy and you learn from.